Hey y'all, I want to mention really quickly before I get into the video that I actually released a couple more pieces of merch and I'm working on another piece of merch right now. I'm so fucking excited for the new piece. It's not out yet, but the same person who designed the skateboard merch is doing this one and it's gonna be so fucking cool. I already got the sketches for it and I'm so excited. I don't know how long it'll take them to actually design it or to actually finish it, but it'll be up, I'm assuming, within the next week or so. And so I'll make another video and I'll announce it when it's out. But I added a couple different pieces. Like I added a canvas print of the skateboard picture. I added a couple different face mask designs. So you guys, I know that the pandemic's not gonna end anytime soon. So if you want like a cute or just stupid, I've made a lot of stupid face masks, but if you want just like a random one, they're like $10. And then I also added 2 different tie-dye t-shirts because I was really bored and I thought they looked cool, so I just added them. And then I'll have the new piece probably up within the next week or so, and I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be so cool. But this is not a merch announcement video. I just wanted to say that like really quickly because I know a lot of people don't know, and I have makeup all over my hands because I just filmed a makeup video for the first time in a long time, and guess what? It went horribly, and I got shit all over me, but okay, we're reading a book today. This is gonna be like story time with cjades again. I found these books in my trunk. Like somebody sent these to me and I haven't cleaned out my trunk since I lived in Texas, you guys. That's like over a year. And I found these books in an Amazon package. It was like Christmas. I had Amazon packages that I had not opened, and they were these books. But I had a bunch of clothes that I wanted to donate in there, so I went through everything again, and then I went and I donated it, so I'm done with that, and I cleaned my trunk, so it's all good. And I wanted to read a couple stories from these books. I have another one too, so I'll make another video like this probably in a week or so. But since I read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I figured I might as well read Nightmare Soup. Nightmare Soup, Tales That Will Turn Your Stomach. And like just the front picture reminds me of Saw, and so I have to read these, and I don't remember reading any of these. I know I had the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark when I was a little kid, but I don't think I ever had these ones. And so these are gonna be like completely brand new stories to me. We're gonna have story time. It's gonna be cute and you're going to like it. My bun does not allow for me to sit back like this, but I do kind of want to lean on something, so we're gonna drag you. I might just deal with it. We might just let it do its thing. Oh God, ow, ow, it's stuck. Oh God, oh dear Lord. Fuck that shit, dude. Okay, so we don't get to lean back today. That's fine. The first story says, I hate clowns. I don't want to go to Daniel's house, Mom. Max stood in the entryway. His mom had her keys in hand, ready to leave. What? All of a sudden you don't want to go to your best friend's birthday party? He hesitated before answering. There's going to be a clown there. I hate clowns. Oh, honey, you'll be fine. Just go in the other room or something. Plus, you would probably hurt Daniel's feelings if you didn't show up. Max just stood there, unsure of what to do. It's either Daniel's party or you can help me run errands, and they're not fun errands. I have to go to the post office and then I have to get a dress for your aunt's wedding. You're gonna be bored out of your mind. He sighed. Okay, fine. Take me to Daniel's. When Max arrived at the party, he said hello to his friends and gave Daniel his birthday gift, but he could only really think about one thing. Where was the clown? Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a colorful bag and slowly walked up to it. This must be the clown's stuff, he thought to himself. He opened the bag to reveal clown accessories, makeup, and party favors. But what really caught his attention was the big red clown nose sitting right in the middle of the bag. He reasoned that maybe if he took the clown's nose, the clown wouldn't come out to perform. So he grabbed it from the bag and he stuffed it in his pocket. Sure enough, Max was correct. The clown never appeared at the party, and he had a great time. That night, while he was asleep in his bed, he awoke to the sound of laughter outside the window. Max got up and slowly looked out to the street. There was a clown standing there on the sidewalk. A wretched, uneven smile cut across his face. In his left hand, he held the string of a single red balloon, which floated by his side. There was something else in his right hand, but Max couldn't tell what it was. That's when he noticed blood running over his lips and dripping down his chin. He reached up to touch his face. His stomach dropped. He rushed to the bathroom and turned on the light, and then he screamed. Max's nose was completely gone, and all that remained was a large bloody hole. Ew! Fuck that shit, dude, but here's the illustration that came with it. So he stole Max's nose. It's literally the epitome of like, I got your nose. But I mean, honestly, Max had it coming to him. He stole the clown's nose, so the clown stole his. This next story is called Noodles, and here's the little picture for you. "We came here to try new things," Jimmy's mother insisted. Jimmy looked down at the bowl of pale gray noodles. It was the second week of their trip to Cambodia, and all he could think about was a big, juicy cheeseburger from back home. "Just try it, you might really like it." He stuck his fork in the bowl and twisted a few noodles around. "Mom, what kind of noodles are these?" "Take a bite. They say it's a local delicacy." Jimmy raised the noodles to his mouth and slurped them up like spaghetti. "Wow, these are delicious." "See, I told you," his mom exclaimed. "You have to be open to new types of food. You'll never get this type of stuff back in Indiana." Jimmy quickly gobbled up the rest of his noodles and sat back in his chair, satisfied. Maybe his mom was right all along. He went to bed still thinking about how good the meal was. It was even better than the cheeseburger he craved. But that night, Jimmy's stomach began to rumble and turn. His insides felt as though they were moving. He got up, rushed to the bathroom, and lifted his shirt, staring at himself in the mirror. What he found was a horrifying sight. Something was slithering within his gut. He rushed to his parents' room. Whatever it was, they had it too. A local doctor came to examine his family the next morning. After checking everybody thoroughly, the doctor asked what they had eaten. "Noodles, just noodles from the village down the road," Jimmy's mother explained. The doctor's expression took a grave turn. "What is it?" she asked. "What's wrong?" "Those weren't noodles," the doctor explained. "They were worms. They gave you tapeworm soup." How on actual earth is that even possible? And now I want to go look back at the picture. It looks like he's eating hair. Like, for some reason I thought he was eating hair, and then the person whose hair it was like inside of him, like, "Give me back my hair." But I don't know, maybe I'm just still traumatized from the clown story. "You took my hair, I'm gonna take yours." But no, worms. Tapeworms. The next story is full moon guests. The radio buzzed as John and Carrie drove through the woods. They were headed to their family's cabin for a quiet weekend alone. Reports of 3 murders in the last week. Static. Killers on the loose. Residents are urged to stay indoors tonight as the police search continues. "You hear that?" Carrie's voice is full of apprehension and concern. "I wouldn't worry about it. We're way up in the mountains. Nobody's gonna come all the way up here." John continued driving until they reached the old cabin built in the 1960s. "It's just me and you," John smiled. "The perfect anniversary. Plus, there's supposed to be a full moon tonight." For some reason, I hate this story because the guy's name is John and he's with some girl named Carrie, and apparently it's their anniversary, and John is my boyfriend, so Carrie, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you need to back off, my man. Anyways, after the two unpacked their belongings, John and Carrie lit the fireplace, beginning their romantic evening together. As the night set in, the two poured a glass of wine and cozied up in the family room. Suddenly, there was a knock at the front entrance. Who could that be? John got up and peered out the window and opened the door. Nobody was there. "Hello?" he called out into the darkened woods, but no answer came. He closed the door and walked back towards Carrie, but then another hard, wooden knock echoed through the room. John returned to the door and slowly pulled it open. Again, nobody was there, but as he started to close it, a figure emerged from the shadows and began to approach the cabin. The figure was tall and lanky, a man, wearing a cloth sack on his head. Upon the fabric, he had drawn a hollow, grinning face. The man was soon joined by 2 others. All 3 carried large, blood-stained knives. The 3 figures then started running towards the cabin. "Carrie, run!" John and Carrie rushed for the back door, but it was too late. The 3 men crashed through the front entrance, 2 of them tackling John, the other went for Carrie. All 3 laughed hysterically as they bound John and Carrie's hands and feet. The leader of the 3 men knelt down next to John and looked out the window. "It's a full moon, neighbor. You have to be careful what happens on a full moon." The man then raised his knife, ready to strike, but to his surprise, John burst out into laughter. "You know, you're right about that." John's voice developed into a heavy growl. Fangs erupted from his mouth, his skin sprouted a thick fur, and his clothes tore as a hulking monster took form. Carrie snapped the rope that bound her, claws forming from her perfectly painted nails. The intruders backed away in terror as 2 gigantic, wolf-like creatures rose in front of them. John and Carrie lumbered towards the 3 men, a rabid hunger blazing in their yellow eyes. "You see, the police aren't searching for you 3, John snarled. They're searching for us. Oh my god, what a fucking plot twist. I was not expecting that one. I really just thought they were gonna die. I thought it was gonna be like the most obvious story in the entire world. Like, yeah, obviously they're gonna die. But no, them bitches are werewolves, and I was not expecting that. But here's your illustration. And then the next story is called The Hunt. It was the coldest November anyone could remember, and a fresh blanket of snow covered the forest floor. Kyle was immersed in the wilderness, clutching tightly to his rifle. There was something relaxing about the quiet bustling of the woods. It was easily his favorite place. It was the heart of deer season, and this year he was going to bag a monster buck like no one had seen before. He just knew it. But the entire day went by, and Kyle hadn't seen a thing. The sun would soon be setting, and he needed to start making his way back home. Kyle grabbed his gear and started walking along the path, but something seemed off. The soothing hum of forest sounds had been replaced by a cold, dead silence. Kyle couldn't even hear the wind rustling against the last of the fall leaves. That's when he saw it. It was the largest buck he had ever laid his eyes on. A monster, the one he had been waiting all these years for, and it was looking right at him. At first, Kyle didn't move, but neither did the buck. It just gazed at him from 100 yards away, standing in an opening on a small hill. He took a couple steps forward, still the buck did not move. He took a couple more steps, again nothing. As he got closer, he noticed a strangeness to the buck. It had thick black fur, and its gigantic antlers were curved in, almost like that of a large goat. Nevertheless, Kyle wasn't going to let this opportunity pass by. He slowly raised his rifle and took aim. The shot ripped through the forest with a thunderous echo. It was perfect, right in the heart. But his smile soon faded. The buck barely moved. It simply cocked its head slightly and continued to stare into his eyes. Kyle was in disbelief. He raised his rifle for another shot, but before he could pull the trigger, the buck started walking in Kyle's direction. He couldn't breathe. This wasn't a deer. It was something else. The creature's long, ghostly strides started to quicken. Kyle's stomach knotted in fear. He had no choice but to run. The blackness of the forest consumed him as he rushed through the bushes. He briefly looked behind him to see the silhouette of the creature quickly gaining ground. It was galloping towards him in an animalistic yet human motion, its hooves digging into the mud as it came closer and closer. Kyle saw a small cabin-like structure up ahead. He sprinted as fast as he could, hoping to reach it before the creature caught up to him. He made it to the entrance and ripped open the door. He slammed it shut just before the creature could reach him. Shaken and trembling with fear, he took a deep breath. He slowly turned to see who or what was in the shelter he had found. It was dimly lit, with nothing but a few burning candles. Kyle grabbed one of them and took a few steps forward to get a better look. The walls were splattered with dried blood and decorated with human heads. The door to the shelter slowly crept open, and he turned to see the creature standing in the entrance. Kyle dropped the candle, paralyzed with fear. The creature then raised its large, gangly hoof and pointed to an empty space on the wall of heads. There was Kyle's name scratched into the wood. And here's your nice illustration. This is the motherfucker that is going to kill Kyle. These stories are actually pretty fucking good. Like, they all end in ways that I'm not expecting in the slightest bit, which I like. I really like that. We're gonna read one more and then we're gonna end this off. This story is called Imaginary Friend. Mom, I didn't do it. It was Charlie. Ethan looked over at the antique mirror that had been shattered to pieces, and then back to his mother's scowl. I don't want to hear it, Ethan. How many times have I told you not to kick the soccer ball in the house? First it was your grandma's vase, now the mirror. Do you know how old that was? It's irreplaceable. Mom, I'm telling you, it wasn't me. Sharon was quickly growing impatient. Stop lying to me. There is no Charlie. You're too old for imaginary friends. You're grounded for a week. A week? That's not fair, Ethan whined. Go up to your room. I'll call you down when dinner's ready. I'm telling your father when he gets home too. No, don't tell Dad. Up to your room. Sharon grabbed a broom and started sweeping up the mess as Ethan trudged upstairs. A half hour later, as Sharon was preparing the dinner table, she heard a soccer ball bouncing in the living room. Ethan, I told you go up to your room. And for goodness sakes, no soccer in the house. She stomped into the family room, but nobody was there. Ethan? Sharon slowly walked up the stairs as she could hear a conversation happening in Ethan's room. Sharon put her ear to Ethan's door. I told you, Charlie, we can't play soccer in the house anymore. You keep breaking stuff and I'm the one who gets into trouble." Sharon kept listening, but she didn't hear anyone talking back. "Ethan, who are you talking to?" Sharon opened the door to find Ethan staring into his closet. "I told you, Mom, it's Charlie. He lives in my closet." "Ethan, that's ridiculous. Nobody lives in your closet. I know there aren't a lot of boys your age around here, but you're 8 years old. It's time to stop playing with fake imaginary friends. When you do something wrong, you admit it and you face the consequences. That's what grown-ups do." Sharon walked back to the hallway. Dinner will be ready in 5 minutes. As she closed the door, she heard a low grumble. "Why don't you shut your mouth, Sharon?" Ethan's mom burst back into the room. "What did you just say, young man?" "I didn't say anything, Mom." Ethan looked up at her with worried innocence. "You, me, and your father are going to have a long talk when he gets home." The next day, Sharon was cleaning Ethan's room while he was at school. Just as she was finishing up, she heard something move inside the closet. Startled, she slowly walked to the closet door and turned the handle, but nothing was there. Just as she was about to turn away, something caught her eye. She crouched down to get a better look and discovered a large hole had been cut, covered by pieces of cardboard. "What is this?" Sharon removed the cardboard and peered into the darkness. Suddenly, a soccer ball flew out, hitting Sharon in the head and sending her stumbling back into the bedroom. As she looked over, she saw a disfigured face peering at her from the blackness of the hole. It then started shifting back and forth, slithering forward like a snake emerging from its lair. It was a man, horribly burned from head to toe, his skin scarred, fleshy and red. His fingernails were long and jagged as he scratched into the floorboards, crawling forward. Sharon screamed as the man lurched towards her. "Hello, I'm Charlie." That is honestly terrifying to think about. I thought it was gonna be like a demon or a poltergeist or something like that, but no, bitch, it's a real ass man, a real ass burned man named Charlie. That is all I'm gonna read for now. If you guys want more of these, let me know. There's a lot more stories in this book, and then like I said, I have a second book, so I can read more of them. I think I have a lot of stories in the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark that I haven't read yet, so I'll probably do those too. But I hope you guys enjoyed. My voice is doing the thing today where like, it gets really scraggly and scratchy, and I also can't pronounce like anything correctly, so I don't know if I can read many more stories today. But I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye! I like super fucked up my hair from when I grabbed it onto the fucking thing. Fuck. It's honestly kind of cool though that I can do that with my hair. I can open a whole ass drawer, but it does kind of hurt. It definitely pulls my hair and the drawer. But okay, yeah, that's gonna be it for today. See ya!